Taken all afternoon. Unbelievable.
How dare you insinuate that I wasn't making this happen?
Well, you did say you were nervous, and you hate being talking to
I might have put it out in the universe. But I was trying very hard to get in. I've literally just received one invite to join, and that was right now.
Well, this must be the right time, I guess. Well, it's great to see you. I'm so glad. I like your haircut. I'm glad to see you.
Thank you.
I said we should be sitting at the boardwalk in Brighton, having a nice cool drink, shouldn't we?
I know. For sure. For sure.
Never mind. But anyway, I've been bigging you up in my attempt to get you on here, but I'll officially start again now. And now, as I said, Irene has worked with me over I think it's almost 20 years now,
Yeah, probably.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh, I can't believe it's been that long. But Irene and I have worked together in the professional capacity over the years. She was a practice nurse where I was working at a GP surgery. Then, when she decided to become a shiatsu practitioner, she was one of the therapists delivering treatment at a complementary therapy service that I was running. But the third incarnation, if you will, of the two of us working together, it was around her dreams. Now, are you hearing feedback? I'm hearing feedback.
No. I do have a fan on because it's really hot. Let me see if I can... Any better?
Yeah. And then I turned mine down as well. Maybe there was some reverb or something going on. Anyway, so it's around dreams that Irene and I have done our latest work together in the last few years. And we're just going to kind of look back over that work we did together and see where she started from and where she's at this point in time with regard to her dreams. So, Irene, take it away, finally.
Well, dreams have always been a big issue for me, historically. When I was growing up, when I was very young, I used to have night terrors. I used to sleepwalk, so I had quite unsettled home life, probably the best way to describe it. So I was living kind of in a state of anxiety quite a lot. So I used to have night terrors, and I actually remember waking up feeling terrified when I was young. And then, as I became an adolescent, I started having recurrent dreams about trying to get to places, but just not quite getting there. And a lot about growing up, this is where I come from, there's a hill, particular hill, which I was always trying to climb. Some of the dreams got quite violent. I can remember one particular one, I don't know if I should share this, but I was crawling alongside the high school and something sharp stuck into my eyes. So they were quite scary stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Especially, I mean, you think about, you said this was in your during adolescence, in your teen years, when there's a lot of shifting and changing and readjustment, not just physically but emotionally. And if there is already a history, as you say, of night terrors and nightmares when you were growing up, that if those issues weren't resolved, they would have a tendency to continue onwards and maybe even growing worse. I mean, was that the case for you? Did they actually go worse?
Yeah, and at that point, I don't remember having night terrors as such, just bad dreams. But when I got probably when I was working with you, actually, I would wake up regularly thinking someone was in the room and sort of grabbing the duvet and sort of standing up and saying, what are you going to do with it? You're going to smother them. It's kind of...
No, I mean, I laugh when you said that because I remember having a nightmare after my first husband had passed away. And I imagined somebody was in the room, and what I did was just pull a cover on my head like a child. You know, if I cover myself, they can't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's funny how we revert to those real childlike behaviors when we're frightened out of our wits. So it's not surprising that, yeah, you would cover over your head to escape. Absolutely.
So yeah, carried on having these sort of dreams and being convinced there was someone in the room, and we moved about four different houses. So it was quite a few years. I remember having these terrors and waking up, someone's in the room, and then that stopped when I moved into this current house. That's only 7 years ago. So I suppose a lot of things changed in my life. I had less anxiety some time.
Except when you have to talk on live.
Completely not true. I wasn't less anxiety at all. But something had changed, and clearly I'm not having these night terrors anymore. But I was still having the dreams of trying to get to somewhere but not managing to get there, and I might be in a boat, I might be going over a hill, the same hill at home in Oban, just trying to get, and just not getting there, just panicking, and just, so that's when we met up again. And then we were in Brighton, weren't we? And we went for lunch, and I got this crazy dream I've been having for years. And you went, oh, I can help you with that.
Yeah, you know, my eyes just light up, you know, and I start to rub my hands together when people bring a dream. But yeah, I mean, that was really the start of things, and what impressed me about the work that we did together was that you were really fully committed to getting to the bottom of your dream, and that's important, because if you just treat it as, you know, dodge a takeaway, too much red wine, or whatever it is, and just dismiss it, it will not go away. I mean, the thing about the message, if you keep ignoring the message, the unconscious keeps presenting the message until you get it. And sometimes can do it quite violently. I mean, it can knock you flat, literally. Accidents, all kinds of things can happen when we're not listening to ourselves. But you stuck with it. And I know that there may have been some hairy moments during that time for you. But the dreams started to shift even as we were working together, didn't they?
Yeah. And after the first, when we worked one-to-one before we did the dream course, that just working with the essence and you working through stuff with me, that dream went, and it hasn't been back since. So that's about 2 years now. Yeah. So that's pretty amazing. But it made me also sort of start to delve into other areas of my life that needed to be addressed. Yeah.
I mean, and that kind of led on, as you say, led on to the dream interpretation course that you did with me. And how did you find that? What was that like for you to have a space to actually explore your dreams?
Really good. I really enjoyed it. It's great people we were doing it with. My sister was on the course as well, and that's quite interesting. And what was interesting was I've actually found the diary of my dreams for the course. I've been looking through them, and it's quite interesting. Yeah, lots of bags. Do you remember I was dreaming about bags?
Yeah, not because of bags. Handbags. There's handbags at dawn with you. I don't know what that was about, but
vintage shops and handbags. I guess if anyone knows me, they probably go, well, vintage shop. Yeah, well.
Yeah, but there's also something about baggage, carrying around stuff. And you were, at that point in time, were actually offloading a lot of stuff, you know, personal as well as professional. So it's not surprising that you were dreaming about old baggage, if you
Yeah.
will. Though some of the bags were new as well, I think.
Yes, yes, but mainly they were old. Mainly, yeah,
Yeah.
mainly old. But yes, there were some new ones there as well. Yes, it was really fascinating. But it was also, being in a shop, and one of the dreams was, yes, but carrying excess baggage. But there was a lot of I was upsetting people in my dream all the time as well. So if you look back through the dreams, I kept upsetting people and getting really upset that I upset someone. And
Now that's interesting because you're the kind of person in waking life that makes every effort not to upset people.
yeah,
So,
try not to.
but this is how dreams compensate for our outer lives. What we're not doing on the outside, the unconscious is counterbalancing that with the opposite behavior. So if you're generally a person that kind of sets back and doesn't try to be as gentle as possible with people, but in your dream you're just like telling people off right, left, and center, which I thought was great. But that's the purpose of the unconscious is really to get us to work in sync with ourselves and to be in balance. And if you're not speaking your truth, you're naturally going to have a problem. And carry around a lot of stuff you don't need to carry around because you're keeping it inside. So well done you for dumping the old bag.
Well, I did. And since the dream course, it made me move forward with some other baggage. And I have dumped that. And I have a particular close relationship with someone, which we are in a completely different place than we were before the relationship. And so I think this is like things we've just picked out through the dream work, and then I did some emotional freedom technique work around it, and then random stuff to do with EFT that I worked on other stuff, and then that led to resolving something. So yes, it's all
it was part of a journey for you. Fantastic. So what is your relationship with dreams now? Do you still keep track of them? Are they still or do you dream? Maybe you're not dreaming or remembering dreams these days.
I'm not dreaming as much, but when I do dream, and it is clearly an anxiety type dream, then I take a step back and think, okay, what am I not paying attention to here? And then use some of the techniques that you taught in the course, and then look at myself a bit more and the dream. So I'm still using what I've learned. But there's a lot less anxiety around it, so a lot less anxiety dreams. Was it the odd one during lockdown? Even though, to be honest, I quite enjoyed it. I quite liked the quietness, no one being around. It's refreshing.
Well, yeah, and I think what I noticed about people in dreams during the lockdown is that people were reporting having crazy dreams, or they were reporting, strange dreams of one form or another, whatever strange may mean for them. But people were dreaming more, and part of that is just dreams can function as a smokestack, meaning so that they are expressing the stresses that we're not throwing off during our waking hours, so that there was a lot of that. But there was also a lot of people having dreams that propelled them into new realms, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things, people starting businesses or becoming more involved in their businesses. I was creating courses, and finishing writing a book. which is being launched now, and I just started working on another book. So this was a time that people's dreams, if they had maybe paid attention to them, and not just dismissed them as being craziness, may have changed the entire direction of their lives as a result. And that's, in essence, what my book is about, is that how my focusing on my dreams and focusing on my ability to interpret them has given direction to my life, which I didn't have before.
Yeah.
So I'm really so pleased that things are taking off for you, because it's been quite a journey for you. You know, going from nursing, especially during this period of time, to healing in a different form. And it's great to see. I wish I was down in Brighton. I said I'd have a treatment in a heartbeat. Or at least sit on the beach and have a drink.
But your book, Sheila, is amazing. I mean, you know, I've known you for a long time, and even I learned some things about you that I didn't know from your book. And there's some really, really interesting things in that book. So I've really enjoyed it. I can't wait to read it again, actually.
That's the best endorsement I could ever get, that somebody wants to reread it. That's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, it really is my story. Not all of my story, obviously, but enough, I think, that people get a more complete picture than they had of me before. You know, I tell people, yeah, you know, I was born with the dream interpretation, but it's like, well, what does that mean? And the book kind of explains what that meant. It meant that I had to take a journey. And it wasn't a straightforward one in the least. And I'm still on it. But what's happened now is that the journey has gotten easier. I'm not struggling because I'm being myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the central message, that I finally had to be myself in order to do what I was meant to do. So,
yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel the same. I've just had deja vu there. I've us butting in each other. I feel the same, you know, about this, you know, journey, and I feel like finally doing what I need to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing as well, and everything else is supposed to happen, I guess. But
yeah. I mean, we wouldn't be the people we are today if the things hadn't happened along the way to show us the path that we need to be on. And I really believe that, and I think this lockdown is a case in point, is that the people who really got the message have made some substantial changes to their life. Maybe not huge changes, but ones that had a substantial impact on their lives and the quality of their lives. And I hope that as time goes on, that people will more and more listen to themselves. And, you know, we give our loyalty and trust and credence to our doctors, our lawyers, our preachers, our teachers, our parents, everybody but ourselves. And doesn't it make sense that we should be the highest authority on ourselves? I mean, you know, just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking that another thing your course did, just something that's come into my head. I do actually use it within my work a little bit. So if someone's coming with dreams, nightmares, I look at things obviously from a TCM, sort of traditional Chinese medicine point of view. So when someone's having nightmares, it's usually sort of liver energy, but it might not just be the liver, it might be all other meridians are affecting the liver, all the different, you know, elements affecting it. So I'm able to look at that and treat them in that way. However, I'm also thinking about it symbolically as well, which some of the work that we do, isn't it?
Well, I mean, and that's interesting because it just goes to show that dreams can have practical applications. I mean, when I was talking with Shireen in the other interview, I made the point that studies were done on women getting divorced, and the ones who dreamt about their exes or dreamt about situations related to the relationship got out of depression and recovered more quickly from the impact of the divorce than the women who did not dream at all or couldn't remember their dreams. So it has a real important psychological function in terms of getting us to work through any issues that have an emotional impact on us.
Yeah.
So that I'm not surprised to hear that dreams have crept into your work as well, because we all dream, we all sleep, we all dream, whether we remember the dreams or not, whether we believe in them or not. Every mammal on the planet, including our dogs and cats, will dream.
Yeah.
So we might as well get to grips with that and mine that gold. I call it finding the gold in the gobbledygook, mining that gold nuggets that come out of the unconscious, because the unconscious knows all about us and wants the best for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, absolutely. This has been great. I mean, I'm so glad we finally got there in the end, because
What's funny is
it was just like,
I wasn't nervous.
But what's hilarious about it, it's just like, no matter how far in advance I plan, no matter how much time I give it for everything to go smoothly, there's always some crazy glitch that gets me scrambling at the last minute regardless. It's just diabolical. But you know what? It happened at the right time when we were both ready for it. So there you go. Irene, thank you so very much for sticking in there, first of all, and to you, the audience, for staying with us and hanging in there, because it wasn't easy. And I would be fascinated to hear going forward how dreams have figuring into your work, because it may not just be with clients coming with symptoms. It may be in other ways, but we'll see. Thank you again. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You heard it. You didn't hear it from me. You heard it from Irene. I mean, I think it's a great book, but I wrote it. So here's somebody else saying, you can get something out of it, and perhaps even if it's just to change your ideas about the importance of dreams.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my darling. It's been great talking to you. I can't wait to get down there and sit on the beach and have a drink again. But it's gotta happen.
Soft drink, Sheila.
Soft drink? Yeah. Soft drink. That's fine. As long as it's cold and wet, that's fine. Take care. Thanks so much. And we'll catch up again soon. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.